Welcome to Tech This Way.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in, Hajime.
Oh, thank you.
I've heard a lot of very good things about you, my mutual friend, Akisha. So, really, it's for me to understand more about your interest in
Malaysia?
Malaysia,
Okay.
and your investments.
Okay.
But before that, to know a little bit about you,
Okay.
you can go as far back as you can,
Okay.
even as a tester in Microsoft and all that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
How far you want to go?
So, all right. So, I was because of COVID-19, I was stuck in Japan for about 6 months, and I just came back recently, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I was under quarantine at a hotel there. I have to say it was quite an experience.
And yeah, you can't even leave the room. You just
Right,
stay
you
there,
cannot
right?
even, step out of the room, and there's no window. But, it was a big room with a nice view. So that was okay. That was good. Food wasn't really that great, but
No sushi for 2 weeks.
no sushi for 2 weeks, no. So, I think I arrived at 11 p.m. And by the time I get to the hotel, it was like 4 a.m.
Oh no.
It was actually an interesting experience because you had to go through the, tests, and then we got on the bus and then we were escorted by a police car all the way from the airport to the hotel.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like,
quite cool.
yeah, I feel like, being, escorted to a jail or something.
Or VIP.
VIP. Yeah. So I checked in around 4 a.m. At that time, I haven't eaten for like 12 hours. I was so hungry, but I didn't want to eat. So they give you fried rice.
Okay.
But it wasn't that too appealing, so
Right.
I didn't have it. Let's say, let me just wait for the, breakfast for the next morning.
Yeah.
So I waited. So I went to bed around 5 a.m. I got up at 9.
Okay.
And according to the, the notice, the breakfast or the meal would be served between 7:30 to 9.
Okay.
So I woke up at 9, right? I opened my door. There's supposed to be there's a table,
Right.
and I saw a container,
Right.
but I realized it was empty. So somebody ate my
Taken your food.
breakfast. Yeah.
Oh no.
I guess what happened was that I think, well, according to the staff, it was supposed to. They say like your neighbor, but I don't think my neighbor ate my stuff, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they had a mistaken that maybe I was not in there yet. So I guess somebody ate my breakfast. That was my
Your first experience.
First experience
no
of
food
the.
So what? The next meal was at lunch.
Okay, so all right. Somebody ate my lunch. I called the hotel. Well, I wanted to call the hotel. I mean the receptionist. But then I realized that the phone was off. The line was not connected, so
okay.
I couldn't call. So I found a way to call the receptionist. At the time, it was already 11 a.m.
Yeah.
So they say, okay, just wait for the lunch because it's gonna be distributed right away.
Soon. Huh?
So I waited till like 12:30. I saw my neighbor had his meal.
Yeah.
I didn't get one. So I called them again, and then the staff came. They say, I put it on your desk already. But now
So
it's gone.
somebody took also.
Yeah. And then there was 3 guys and they were pointing out my neighbor again. And I said, please check the CCTV and tell me what happened. But I guess we couldn't, I didn't really know what happened after
But they
that.
brought you some food lah.
So dinner, right? So I told my wife about it. So she cooked, home cooked meal.
Yeah.
And then she brought it to the hotel. But
So your wife is here.
yeah, my wife is here. But anyway, my friend, brought the food here.
Okay.
But they couldn't accept it because of the, they're scared of the food poisoning or something. So
Okay.
they're not accepting any food outside. But then, my wife scolded them, right?
Right.
So at dinner, they brought a very nice fried rice with egg and chicken and everything.
Some extra food. Really.
Yeah, so that was my beginning of 2 weeks.
Okay.
So that was quite an experience. So I've been living here for the last 7 years
Okay.
with my family, with my wife and 2 kids, 2 boys.
Okay.
So initially, I came here to. So, well, maybe should I just go back?
Go all the way back.
Go all the way
which,
back.
Which makes sense.
Okay, sure. Right. So I was born in Japan. I was born in Tokyo, grown up in Yokohama, which
Okay.
is a city right next to it.
Hmm.
And at 18, when I graduated from high school, I went to Seattle, Washington, U.S. For university.
Okay.
And then after that, I joined Microsoft. At the time,
Well, that's where it was, you know. So
Sorry?
that's where Microsoft was. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
so-
that's Seattle or
okay.
Redmond. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was in charge of the global testing for the internet applications.
Okay.
So I was in charge of the like setting up the cluster, setting up the servers, writing the deployment script, test automation, doing the globalization testing, all that stuff. So that's how I got.
What year was that?
That was
long ago?
back in 1998.
Okay.
That's when Microsoft just bought the Hotmail.
Right.
And that was when Microsoft was shifting from the waterfall model to the agile model.
Okay.
So back then it
So
was still
22 years ago, they were going to
they
agile
were
already.
trying, right? But
Okay.
then Microsoft at the time 60% of the revenue was coming from the package software like Office and Windows. So they were still in the mindset. They were still very waterfall
Yeah.
package software kind of mindset. But I was in the internet group, so we were trying to adapt to the new methodology. So we're trying to do agile.
But I guess for the package software, it still makes sense because you only have your releases, I don't know, like every 1 year or every 6
yeah.
months, right? So-
Windows 4 years, yeah.
Okay. In
and
fact, longer,
once
yeah.
if you miss a bug, right? If a bug gets into the package, nothing you can do. Of course, you can push a
A
fix,
patch, yeah.
but people don't really patch it, right? Often.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to be very careful about not letting the bug in the product.
Okay. So you were with Microsoft.
Yeah.
and
So
then-
I spent 10 years there.
Oh, wow,
10
okay.
years. Yeah. It was actually a really good experience for me because, I think it was the right time to really experience from the on-premise to the not to the cloud yet. I left in 2008, so the cloud wasn't really big back then.
But end of 98, 99, that was right at the .com
That's right. That's
excitement.
right. Yeah. That's right.
So how was that?
It was
Being in the middle of the action,
Yeah. So you know how Microsoft killed the Netscape. So I was sort of in a IE team, right?
So you were the enemy.
I was the enemy.
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
And then
what
Hajime was in Silicon Valley, so we used to go there sometime. But I didn't feel comfortable walking around the Silicon Valley wearing the Microsoft shirts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So there was a animosity, of what Microsoft did in Silicon Valley. You could, there is that sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So 10 years. And after that, I moved to, Microsoft sent me to Shanghai.
Okay.
And I was part of the MSN Development Center. So I was there to hire engineers, train them. And then after that, I moved to a IT solution company, IT consulting company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you left Microsoft when
Microsoft.
you were in Shanghai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So that was 2007 or 8. That's when the the iPhone came out, right? So I thought, oh wow, this is iPhone built a platform where you can sell a app to anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Because it was a global platform with all the payment embedded to it.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought, I want to do something myself.
So
I thought about leaving, and then somebody approached me. So at that time I was a bit scared to do my own thing. So
Yeah.
I joined a company.
Right.
It was a pre-IPO. It was really exciting.
Right. A startup at that point.
It was it was pretty big already. Back then it was 2,000 people
Oh, okay.
when I
A
joined.
fairly established company already.
Fairly established, but it was a pre-IPO.
Mm.
It was growing really rapidly. I think within 4 years, it grew from 2,000 to 20,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was,
And this was an IT consulting company.
IT consulting company.
in Shanghai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was, all over China. Like
Right.
Beijing. I think it was headquarters in Beijing.
Okay.
and Shanghai, everywhere.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So even IPO. So I get to experience a little bit the excitement, and then I was sent
Obviously
to,
paid in shares too, so you celebrated also.
I had a slight share,
Okay.
right? So on a paper, I was a millionaire,
Woohoo!
right? But then I didn't sell. I had so much trust in this company that I didn't sell when it go
Okay.
IPO. I
Right.
think most people cashed out, but I
Yeah.
didn't because I have so much faith, right? But then, the economy,
Oh no. Okay.
turned the downwards,
right.
and I didn't get much out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got some though. I got some.
Yeah, sure. It wouldn't be zero, right? But, could have been a millionaire. But anyways, okay. So how long were you with this?
4
IT
years.
consulting? Okay.
4 years. Yeah.
So you got to see the IPO. That
I
was
got to see the
exciting.
IPO,
Mhm.
and then they sent me to London because most of our customer was in the US, mostly tech companies in the US. But
Oh,
we wanted
okay.
to explore the tech companies in Europe. So
Right.
I went there to set up the team there.
Hmm.
So I went.
Okay.
So, but I did that for about a year. I met a guy who wants to start us do a startup, the global startup in Japan. So I joined him. So
Okay.
I moved back from London to Japan.
Right.
So we did the startup together.
What was that? What was the thing you were doing?
It was ad network, advertisement network,
Okay.
mostly.
Right.
But it was a targeted ad network.
Mm.
So you can really target it to the right age group and gender, your interest level.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that it didn't really take off. The technology was great, but then it didn't really take off. So I started my own company, initially doing consulting. It was easier, right?
And this is back in Tokyo.
Back in
Japan.
Tokyo,
Okay.
consulting, mostly generating new business. We do a design thinking to come up with the idea. We develop an application. We test it out with the users, stuff like that. So we were doing that.
Okay.
But then I wanted to do something big. So from the consulting, I had some money to do my own thing again. And because I was in the, I spent 13 years in the US, 6 years in China, and 1 year in Europe, right?
Yeah.
But then I wanted to really explore the Southeast Asia.
Okay.
That's going to be the next frontier.
Right.
So initially, I wanted to, Southeast Asia, right? So even Singapore or even Malaysia, it's not big enough. Singapore is only like 5 million, right?
Yeah.
Malaysia is about 30 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to target the whole Southeast Asia. And for that, I needed to be traveling around.
Yeah.
So initially I thought, okay, maybe Singapore is a place to set up a headquarters. So I spent like a week trying to look for a office space and kindergarten, house for my wife and stuff. But I had a 1 day open, so I came to Malaysia.
Okay.
So I was only here for like 2 days, right? One night. I got on the blue taxi.
Okay.
You know those blue taxi.
Yeah. The Bluebird.
Blue
no, that's
Bird.
Indonesia.
It was a little bit,
the blue
But
one in
anyway, so
Singapore,
so the driver used to be a travel agent or something. So he knows all the history. He took me out so from airport to KL, right? I say, I'm going to book you for the whole day. Take me out, show me around the city. And so he took me out to the Cyberjaya and Putrajaya. It was beautiful architecture there. And then he showed me around the city. And I actually, I love this a lot.
So you would, for that 1 day trip, was just like a
It was just
quick break. Since you're here, you might as well have a look.
Yeah, that's it. So
no expectations. Yeah.
No expectation at all. So of course I used to backpack. I used to backpack around the Southeast Asia, China. So I've been to Cambodia, Vietnam, Thai, but for some reason I didn't come to Malaysia.
Okay.
So I didn't know much about Malaysia.
So that was your first time?
That was the first time.
Right.
And then that day I said, I like this a lot. Actually, I might like it better than the Singapore. So the next day I called the MDEC. and I
Okay.
stopped by MDEC,
Right.
and then one of the client director came out, and he tried to convince me to come to Malaysia. So I said, and he gave me a pitch about the pros and cons about Singapore and Malaysia,
Right.
and I bought it.
Okay. But when you moved to Singapore, in fact, before you even moved to Singapore and you said, okay, I want to target Southeast Asia, from a business standpoint, what was your plans? What did you want to do?
Okay, right. So initially, the first thing I did was it was nothing about Southeast Asia. It was a pure global app where you can ask anything with a photo. So you take a photo of something, upload it to the app. So everybody on the app, the crowd, the crowdsourcing.
Yeah.
So they give you an idea.
Okay.
Give you an idea about what that is. Is it expensive, or you can get something better next door, stuff like that.
Right.
So I think that the idea itself was interesting, and there was a similar app called Jelly by Bidstone.
Okay.
He's a founder of Twitter.
Okay.
So he happened to had a pretty much exact same idea. He released it 2 weeks after we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was quite a good timing. And we had about 200K daily active user.
So this was when you were still in Tokyo?
Actually, I'm here. I was here already.
Oh, okay.
That was the first thing I did in Malaysia.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so you mean when you looked in Singapore and then
I didn't have any idea.
So it was nothing yet. It was just trying to find a place to start.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you saw Malaysia, you liked it. Then you decided, okay, you're gonna move to Malaysia.
Right. So the MDEC really convinced me. So okay, I say let's do this because I need to put a family here, but because I need to be traveling around Southeast Asia anyway.
Yeah.
So my wife is Chinese.
Okay.
So Malaysia, Singapore, a lot of people speak Chinese, right? So it's better for them to settle down, and I feel safer compared to say Jakarta or other places.
Yep.
So I thought this was a good place to put
set the
families.
family. Okay.
Families. Yeah. So I set up the company. I applied for the MSc.
Right.
So within 3 months, I got MSc visa and everything, bank account,
All sorted out,
because
yeah.
of the help from the MDEC. So that was really good.
Okay.
Yeah. So but at that time, I didn't really have a good idea yet.
Right.
I knew that I wanted to do something global, not just the Japan or something local. But then, so we launched it. Within 3 months, it went up to like 200K active user, which was.
So who's we? When you
Oh,
set
we.
this up?
Sorry. So it was me and my co-founder.
Okay.
He's also Japanese. My
Right.
my CTO.
So in fact, both of you moved to Malaysia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
He's
did
still
it-
here.
Okay.
He's still
So he
here.
just trusted you to say, okay, let's move to Malaysia. So he said, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the two of you, and then who developed the initial application first?
So together, I mean, of course, I did the ideas. I mean, I think everybody contributed, but he did the MVP.
Okay.
My CTO did.
Right. And then so you head up to 200,000 active
So
users.
that was
that's
good.
pretty
I
yeah.
see people posting from the US, people posting from Mexico. Very interesting. But then there was no clear business model behind it. Right. So we raise. I don't think I can disclose the amount.
Sure.
But our runway was about two years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was so
Sounds like there's a lot of
in Malaysia.
funding.
In Malaysia, it was 2 years.
Okay.
If we went to Singapore, it was maybe like 7 months. 8 months.
Well, good thing you choose Malaysia.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in 3 months it went, but there was no business model behind it. So we actually pivoted
Okay.
to something very local, hyper local. So our office was in the Mid Valley. Mid Valley is huge, right? There's the Garden side, Mid Valley side, and every time when I want to go for lunch, I couldn't find a shop. I don't know what's out there. I don't know what's available.
Okay.
It was so big that I get lost in the mall. So what we did was that we built a shopping mall app. So we we get the list of all the Wi-Fi,
Okay.
right? So it's not our Wi-Fi. It's just like a Wi-Fi, right? We get the ID, and we get the just rough location, so we can triangulate the user's location in the app. I mean, within the shopping mall.
Right.
So let's say this person is near this area, maybe within 300 meter radius. We know their profile, we know their purchasing patterns. So it was a time-based coupon, time-based deals. So let's say I own a cafe, right? I still have to pay for the electricity, stuff, and everything, even I don't have anybody in my coffee shop, right? So the coffee shop can take a snapshot of coffee. For example, say I'll give you a 50% off to this segments, to this targeting customers. So only within that targeted customer base will get the deals thereby.
How do you push it to the customer?
They have to have an app.
Okay.
They have to have an app, yeah.
And is that a mega mall kind of partnered with a
So initially
mall or
we
standalone?
it was actually partner with a shopping mall.
Okay.
Initially we partner with a shopping mall called Publica. Publica, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we expanded to 5 shopping mall. Of course, mega mall. We wanted to partner with them, but we didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Although that's where you got the idea from.
They didn't. I don't think back then they didn't have an app. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So then you had this locator with the targeted marketing.
So initially it was just the deal app, but then we built the app. Then I really wanted to track the purchasing pattern. So we pushed a deal, and I want to know the conversion rate. How many of those people who actually went to the store and bought something, so that we can see the funnel, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to get that data. So we built the payment mechanism using a QR code.
Okay.
So now I think there are so many players now, right?
Yeah.
There's
All the wallets, yeah.
Yeah, all the wallets, yeah. I don't think back then there was nobody doing it yet. QR code payment. Of course, QR code payment was really popular in China.
Yes.
But before that, Japan was huge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not something that people know about, right? As it's not as popular as when you talk about QR code payment, it's always Alipay, WeChat Pay, right? That's it, yeah.
I don't know how they got it, but so my manager, when I was in Microsoft, he became a CTO of Tencent, right? So when we were in Microsoft, we all visit the Docomo in Japan,
right?
And we learned about the QR code payment. We were actually doing research about QR code payment, and back then you can if at a bus stop you can scan a QR code. You can track the location of the bus in Japan. That was back in 2005, 6.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. But Japan really didn't develop it. I think they moved to the the Ferica, the RFID.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the physical cards, right?
Yeah, physical cards. Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't really develop on the QR code.
I see.
But then,
technology
China
was already there.
Yeah. So China actually developed it and you just leapfrogged the whole Japan ecosystem.
So when you were building your app, so the payments obviously from QR code at that point was not very popular yet.
Yeah.
At
So
the retail. At the
right.
shop.
So then it's actually really difficult. The POS. So that's the the cashier.
Yeah.
It's really hard for us to integrate with the
the POS system.
POS system because there are so many different flavors, different drivers. So not just the POS itself, but also different type of printer. Right. So it was really difficult for us to migrate.
Yeah.
So what we did was that we partnered with a company in Germany. So what we did was that there's POS, there's a printer. We put a box here. Okay. So this reads the print stream. So we can capture whatever is on the receipt. So we know the location, time, the purchased item, everything.
Okay. And the retail shops would allow you to do that?
Of course, yeah. Of course, and of course they need to sign we need to sign the agreement
Right.
for that.
And for them to sign up is so that then you can push their coupons and their offers to the customers, right?
Yeah. And we had this idea. So deals, usually the budget comes from the FMBs. And you know, their profit margin is really low, right?
Yeah.
So it's really hard for them to use that budget out of their already thin margin. So what we were trying to do was trying to get a budget from the, let's say, big beverage company, let's say Heineken or let's say Tiger. So Tiger, they have a lot of budget, right? So because we know what's being purchased, right? So I don't need to get a deal from that store. But let's say, okay, I bought Tiger here, Tiger at a B, Tiger at C. So let's say if I buy 10 Tiger, I get a free Tiger from the Tiger.
Anyone, from any of the shops.
Oh, yeah. But the budget comes from Tiger,
From
for
Tiger,
example.
Okay.
So, Actually, we were testing out the idea. We couldn't really launch it. So that business, we struggled to expand. We needed to get funding, a lot more funding to compete with the other competitors.
Okay.
So we decided to sell to a Japanese company at the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what did you do?
All right. So after that,
how long have you been in Malaysia at that point?
When I sold it, it was about 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 5.5 years.
Right.
5
Quite
years.
long already.
Yeah.
Trying
so
to
I mean, I was
to
doing
be
that.
a-
I was doing the shopping mall app for like 5 years.
Right.
Yeah. So I've been to almost all the shopping malls around. I know the problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you sold it off to a Japanese company. Then what was the next plan?
They decided, so they wanted to expand that. So they liked the technology, right? So they wanted to expand it in Japan, but at the end they decided not to.
Okay.
Because even in Japan, there are a lot of players doing it now. There's a PayPay, backed by Yahoo, Yahoo Japan, SoftBank is behind it.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've been spending hundreds of millions of dollars
Right.
on promotions.
So what happened then?
All right, so that, and I did a little bit of the data / AI consulting. So with my friend, so I was doing that, and then that company got acquired by a Chinese company. So we joined the company. It was data. They built a AI tool.
Okay.
Yeah. So we joined, and then so they had a huge share in Japan and China, and they wanted to expand to Southeast Asia. So I was in charge of Japan and Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was at that point the end of your startup life, if you like.
Well, that was still a startup company.
Okay.
That was still startup.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think I can go back to a big company.
Like big corporate world. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I want to still stay in this,
Yeah.
startup, fast-paced.
Right.
Yeah.
So then what happened? So after that?
Okay.
What did you
So
do?
so I did that for about a year. But my friend was running a business in Japan. But then he had a problem with the cash flow problem. So he asked me if I can help him. But I didn't want to join it just to work for somebody else.
Right.
But then, he asked me to take over the company. So I took over the company and became a CEO.
Right.
To really recover the company.
But you are in Malaysia at the time?
I was in Malaysia. So the deal was that I'm gonna spend 2 weeks in Japan, 1 week in KL.
Right.
So I was doing that back and forth.
Okay.
Like 20 times flights every year.
Right.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. Until this Corona happened, right? So
Yeah.
there was Corona. I was stuck there for about 6 years. I mean, 6 months. 6 months.
So you went back there, okay, January, February,
So Yeah. So I've been doing this for about a year. So this company called Alphaus Cloud. So we provide the financial management solution for multi-cloud. So are you familiar with like AWS, Azure? Okay. It's really complicated. So many companies are trying to shift from on-premise to the cloud. But the cloud services, there are many different kind of services with a different pricing point, different types of discount scheme, different contracts. It's really complicated. So we provide the financial management. So we help with the invoicing, cost allocation, profit allocation, all that financial related stuff.
From a consumer standpoint?
So it's a B2B.
Okay.
So we provide our solution to a cloud reseller. Those companies who resell the cloud, AWS.
Okay.
Or so we have two types of customer. One is the cloud reseller or MSP, and the other one is the enterprise.
Okay.
For example, let's say I don't know, like any company who uses the AWS.
Right.
Yeah.
So help me understand the environment a little bit, right? Because you said there's resellers. I always assume that, as a company, I will just go directly to Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
Get Azure, or do I go to AWS and subscribe, right?
Yeah.
But you're saying there are also other players that sits in between these companies?
Okay. So there's something called the consolidated billing, where there's the master account, there's a linked account underneath it. And usually they purchase all the cloud with the master account, or they call it payer account. So they have to they have to allocate the the cost to each project or each department. And that becomes really complicated.
Yeah. Especially I know now there are companies who are going into multiple cloud providers.
That's right.
Because you want to have your
exactly.
not load balancing, but some kind of a leverage, right? Between the two. And of course your own internal, right? So it's a hybrid with multiple cloud,
it gets really complicated. So even with AWS, right? If you started to have multiple accounts, it's really hard to manage it with their tool. They have something called Cost Explorer. But then once you started to have a multiple account, it's really difficult to manage it. And like you said, right? So, usually they have other clouds like GCP, Azure, or the hybrid. They might have a private cloud.
Yes.
So we provide a layer on top of all those different cloud player so that we provide a common language for everybody's involved. So management, engineers, finance people, everybody. So they can see in one dashboard.
So this company being in Japan, are the customers all over there right now? Or what's the plan?
So this Alphas, we have two locations, one in Tokyo, one in KL.
Okay.
We have 9 people in KL. We have 10 in Japan. So it's like balance already. So most of our customers are in Japan right now. I think this is a very niche market yet. At this point, it's a niche market, but I think we are the clear leader in that market. And this market's gonna explode. It's gonna grow. So mostly in KL, we have engineers, but with help from the Atasha, we are trying to expand to Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Yeah, and with other partner, we're trying to go into US market as well.
Yeah, I would expect that you will go to the markets where the usage of cloud is more mature.
Yeah,
right?
That's right, exactly.
Right.
So of course, US compared to Japan market, US is about 6 to 7 years ahead.
And would they not already have seen this problem, and therefore somebody would have done this already?
Actually, we're not the only player there.
Yeah.
There are actually 5 big players in US already. Big players who got acquired by big companies already, like VMware, Microsoft, they bought, right?
Okay.
But then nobody's doing it in Japan yet.
Right.
Southeast Asia, I don't think anybody yet. Yeah, because Japan is about 6 years behind. They started to see this problem now. And with the COVID-19, it's a tailwind for us. Many companies are trying to shift to the cloud. And once they shift to the cloud, they realize,
They're gonna face
they
this
cannot
one.
really manage the cost because
Yeah.
it's not the fixed cost anymore. It's a variables.
How far behind in terms of years do you think Malaysia is, or even Southeast Asia, in terms of this kind of market?
I'll say maybe a couple years behind Japan. The concept of SaaS itself is not well accepted in Southeast Asia yet. Maybe Australia, Singapore, and maybe Malaysia.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Maybe, I guess so. It depends on the software, right? So I know Salesforce is probably there. Some SAP on the cloud now, right? But after that, I think not so much.
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah. But there are many SaaS players popping up in Southeast Asia already. So I think I wanna plant the seeds now, so that once the wave comes, we wanna ride the wave. Yeah.
So the billing management software. What is your terminology for your product?
Okay, so there is no clear term, but we call it financial management solution for the multi-cloud.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the financial management solution for multi-cloud is for which layer of the cloud is it? Is it all the way from infra as a service?
Okay.
Or which layers do you?
Oh yeah.
Do you support?
So mostly IRs, the infrastructure as a service, or even the PaaS, the platform as a service. Some of the SaaS, for example, let's say we handle the Office 365.
Okay.
Yeah, so we handle the billing for that as well.
Okay.
So mostly IRs layer, some PaaS, some SaaS.
Some SaaS. Okay. So what is the big dream?
All right, big dream. Okay, so when I took over this company, we had no cash to survive.
Okay.
So we had to let go people. We cut down. We had 3 projects. We cut down into 1 project, and we just focus on that. We rewrite the whole solution. So back then we were just so busy trying to survive. So I didn't have much expectation. Now that we are at the growing phase now, I think for the recent month, I think we are growing rapidly now. So I think we can aim for IPO. Yeah.
So what do you think if the demand was there? So in terms of a turning around question, right? So what made it successful? And what made it a problem in the first place?
So I think the previous owner or the CEO was trying to do everything. So the cloud, he was trying to cover the cloud ecosystem, from the provisioning to deployment to monitoring to cost management to everything, which is good, right? If somebody can cover all that's great for the users.
Okay.
But then we do not really have enough resources nor the money to do everything.
Everything at the same time.
Everything at the same time, and there are so many competitors at each front.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So especially around the deployment and provisioning, there are big players there in the US. So what we did was you just focus on the cost management.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a niche. It's a very small niche. Okay. But it's gonna grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of the functions itself, beyond the cost management for cloud, do you foresee going back into the rest of the services?
Right. Okay. So through partners. So we are talking to this startup in the US. They had exactly, well, maybe better, vision of what we are trying to do.
Okay.
Right. So I think we're gonna partner with them, and we're gonna tag along with them to go to the US market, and maybe we can help them to expand to Japan market and Southeast Asia market.
Okay.
Yeah.
So So if they are already 7 years ahead in terms of
US,
usage, right? In the US, wouldn't there already be mature competitors in the things that you are going to do?
All right. So the cost management part, yes, there are big players like Cloud Health, Cloud Ability. They're huge, but we can do a better localization of the solution.
Okay, I was actually going to go into that, right? Because we are talking about technologies that's on the cloud. Right? there is no stopping those players to come and eat everything up here, right?
True.
So how would you compete
Okay.
against that?
When it comes to Japanese market, so people there speaks Japanese. People prefer to read in Japanese, right? So there's a barrier.
Yeah, there's a
It's-
natural
It's protected by
culture
the
barrier.
Japanese language.
Right.
So they need to translate into Japanese text, which is easy, but they need to really adapt, really localize the features into a Japanese way of doing things. And because U.S. market is such a big market, I think their focus is U.S. market.
Right.
So they don't have the right resources to support the Japanese market. So of course, they have people there, but then the engineering team in a headquarter, they have a different priority.
So the market is still big enough over there that they don't need to come this side yet.
Yes.
So whilst they are still there, so you're hoping to be, hey, we are already here. Let's have create the big lead.
Exactly. Exactly.
Uh,
At the same
against these
time, with partnering with the other startup, we're gonna try to get the whole ecosystem.
So so now that you have come, now you've been, so how long have you been in Malaysia now?
7 years. 7.5. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you see the startup ecosystem in Malaysia?
I've been away for the last 2 years. I've been focusing in Japanese market for
because of
too
your
long. But I think from when I first came, I think ecosystem is a lot bigger now. A lot bigger. I think I was lucky enough to join this the Founders Institute as a mentor.
Yeah.
So I got to see many startup, and I saw their pitch. And it was really good.
So now that you're back, so you built up a small team of developers here.
Yeah, about 10. Yeah.
Right. So what is the plans moving forward in terms of expanding in the region itself?
Okay. So right now it's mostly a engineering team. And good thing about Malaysia is welcoming the foreigners, especially with MSc status.
Yeah.
So I can hire people from Vietnam, India, many companies, right? So it'd be good. So I wanna build up a engineering resources here, and maybe technical support as well. And also I wanna build alliances with the local partners here. They might already have a customer base that we can integrate with their technology, that we can tag along with them to go to the market. So this company that I'm talking with, we just signed the NDA, we just signed the MOU that we're gonna go together to the Southeast Asia. So they have a presence in Singapore, Philippines, Thai, Indonesia. Yeah.
So from a market standpoint, I know you started in Malaysia because you happen to be here, right? In Malaysia. But in terms of market size, potential, where do you see in terms of all the Southeast Asian countries?
We are still
biggest
trying to figure it out. As you say, right? So there is no barrier. So Malaysia, Singapore, it's all English, right?
Yes.
English ecosystem, right? So they can adapt. They can just take whatever's available in the U.S. market and just adapt it here.
Yes,
Here.
that's easy.
So competing in the Southeast Asia we have to compete with the U.S. market, the U.S. players. Of course, there's some customization, like the exchange rate, for example, let's say, stuff like that. So we still need to do customization. That's where I think we can really, differentiate ourselves.
But from a cloud usage standpoint, where do you see the bigger players are in this region? Which countries?
Australia, Singapore, but again, it's still a small market, so we have to cover the whole across the market. But I think Malaysia. I think they have many players in Malaysia that could utilize our solutions.
Yeah.
But it's we're still trying to figure out our strategy.
Okay.
How we expand to Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Atasha is actually tasked for that.
Okay, that's his job.
Atasha is in charge of the expansion.
Okay. So from I'm curious to see from from a AWS and Azure standpoint, right? How do they see your services? Are they saying, hey, you know what? I should be providing this service anyway. Just another billing module, right? In AWS.
Okay, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
So AWS, they can provide a solution for AWS users only. But we're trying to go multi-cloud. So, I think the trend is to people going from single cloud to the multi-cloud. So I have account with AWS, Azure. So they would like to see all the data aggregated into one. So AWS, of course, they're going to try to do their own thing for their own platform only. But others, there's nobody. They cannot do it themselves.
So, from your own customer standpoint, right? So obviously you say you're a B2B. Now you are fairly new into the market, and you know how big corporates are, right? It's always working with established ones.
Yes, that's
who
right.
are your past customers, and all that. How do you overcome?
That's right.
That barrier.
Yeah. So doing B2B, easier in a way because you understand. It's easier to understand their needs. But again, you say you have to build a connection. You have to build a trust. And it's not just, your personal trust, but also they do a background check on the company. Is this company financially stable? And that's a really big problem going to this enterprise. So that's why we had to partner with the big players in the region.
I see. Yeah. But do you see yourself moving, obviously with experience and time, then you can stand on your own and go to market?
Yeah. That's right.
So it's is the competition heating up? Or
Yes,
do you think,
it is.
You still have a few years ahead of people?
Yeah. So good thing is that, things are moving a lot faster now, migrating to the cloud. I think so many companies are trying to adapt to the cloud.
Yeah.
So the market is growing.
Yeah.
But now I think big enterprise, they started to notice, there's a market for this. It was just a small market, but then people started to realize.
Yeah.
So we need to raise a random funding early next year to expedite the development and also the market expansion before those big guys come and eat your lunch.
Or being eaten, one of your plans too?
I wouldn't say no. Of course, we're going to keep all the options open, but I think we have a good position to go IPO ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, in terms of the companies who are your customers, is there a certain size that you think is a sweet spot right now?
Yeah.
Is it just
I think
large
we can mention NTT, NRI, Hitachi,
those
big players. So I think we have more than 50% of the all those big players in Japan, which it's such a small niche market. But yeah, I think we're the clear leader in terms of that.
Will the same model work in the region, in
Southeast Asia? We'll see. I think, to me, from what I hear by talking to each enterprise, I think the trend is the hybrid. So they utilize the computing power on the cloud, but the database stays in the private because of the data privacy issues and all that stuff, right? So we need to provide a hybrid solution.
Okay.
So if we can really enable the multi-cloud and hybrid, I think there's a needs there.
So do you see the operations separate? Your team in Japan, in Tokyo, serving the Japanese market?
No, we are totally integrated. So we have a standard meeting every morning. So we have meeting all the time. Most of our staff, engineer, they work from home anyway, right? So we are all remote. I go to office sometimes just to socialize with other people, but most of our engineers are staying home and communicating with the Malaysian engineers all the time.
But the language itself, you were saying, in Japan, there's obviously that natural boundary, right? Is that a challenge to?
No. At my company, English is the common language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see having to localize a lot as you go out into Southeast Asia?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. But I'll say some of the stuff is similar to Japan. Similar,
Okay.
I'll say.
Okay.
So even Japan, we have engineer from Egypt, Philippines, US, yeah, and others are Japanese. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess you have to live the principle, right? This is a cloud world. You can be anywhere, right?
Yeah. And not only that, but we need to. I think I'm really proud to have a diverse team. But because if you want to hire a top talent, you cannot really, look for a one bucket of people, right? You have to really look elsewhere, and that's why I try to diverse the team so that we can tap into the bigger talent pool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, if you are running this business, right, there is no reason for you to actually be here in Malaysia. It's been 7 years now. So what is your own personal plans, right? Okay.
Yeah. So yes, but we are still very high touch. So we are trying to be a tech touch where, you just, let people to try out and they can sign up themselves so we can like learn and expand. The type of stuff that we're doing, we are still very, we need to go out to the customer, explain what the feature does, and we actually hold their hands to try out for like 2 months before we can onboard the customer.
Right. Have you onboarded any in this region yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. Are you
I've been
close
talking to several companies here, including Malaysia, one of the Malaysian government agency as well.
Okay. I guess if you lock in one of the agencies, then that's a lot of potential, right?
I hope so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. But there's definitely something to be around here to do, huh?
Yeah.
So because I guess you're in Malaysia, therefore you'll target the Malaysian companies first, or are you actually attacking all the countries at the same time?
I'm just testing out the water with the Malaysian players now, but yeah, of course our plan is to go outside of Malaysia.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. In terms of scaling up the business, is it very heavy reliance on people and staffing, or is it really, as you say, hey, it's a tech touch, right? You just let them go out and
we're not tech touch, so we need to build a sales team. We need to build a customer success team here. So yeah, we need to hire people locally.
Especially in a B2B business, right? You do need to have the strong sales guys with the
with the connection relations. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna scale. We're gonna scale from Japan to Southeast Asia, and we're gonna cross sell to other components. Like right now, we're doing cost management cloud, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna do compliance and security, and that's our next the target.
Compliance in terms of the reporting,
scoring, all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Do you see your user base? Is there a particular industry that you see as your natural customers first?
So two types of customers, right? So MSP, those companies that who's resell the cloud. Yeah, that's one thing. Enterprise, mostly tech for now, tech. But anybody who uses cloud could be our
So actually,
customer.
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't really matter as long as they utilize the cloud, which would be pretty much everybody.
Yeah. But because you mentioned before, it was a lot more the telcos, right? Sounds like.
Yeah. Those telcos are reseller.
Okay.
Yeah. They resell the cloud.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So immediately then, now closing some deals.
In Malaysia?
Yes, in Malaysia. So that's the plan next, right?
Yeah.
So in the short term.
I think my personal target is still Japan market. So we wanna break even by end of this year. Yeah. And then we're gonna close a big round of funding earlier next year. And then with that, I think we can really hire more people and grow more into Japan and also Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Right now we're just testing out how and where we target.
So a lot of the initial development are for the customers in Japan right now, because that's your core. Do you see, and obviously, the moment they are more mature over there, you can roll it out in Southeast Asia.
You mean the people or
No, the technology, the
Technology.
solutions itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
The requirements, if you like, the requirements are coming from your customers in Japan,
Japan.
right?
Yeah.
And then you hopefully is the same requirement as in Southeast Asia.
Yes.
Right.
I think in terms of feature set, I think we have it already. I
Okay.
think we have enough feature set that we can target the Southeast Asia market. It's just matter of focus. For now, I just need to focus on Japanese market because Japanese market is really growing right now. Growing.
And so when you were talking about IPO, that'll be in Japan.
In Japan. Initially, right? If I were to start up my own company from scratch, I'm gonna target the US market. But then for this company, we have such a big user base in Japan. I think it would make more sense to IPO in Japan.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have as you say, your partners in the US anyway, right? That you're tagging along with.
Yeah.
So you're attacking a few fronts at the same time, right? Japan is the core, and then US, Europe maybe, and then Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Closer, right?
Yeah.
So now that you're back in the country, are you still gonna do your 2 weeks, 1 week in Japan?
No, I
and
can't.
back?
I cannot. Okay, so I had to stay 2 weeks in a hotel, right?
Yeah.
Quarantine. So I don't wanna
Go
do that
through
again.
Yeah.
And then actually I'm going back on Wednesday, but I might not be able to exit. I might not be able to go outside of Malaysia because I just found out that I need to get a permission
To leave.
just to leave.
Okay. What about how is the situation in Japan?
It's getting I think in Tokyo, I think they still find 200 people, 300 people a day. But number of people who get serious is going down.
Okay.
Number
that's
of
good.
deaths is going down.
That's good. So these are just positive cases.
Yeah.
But no real death. Yeah.
It's really we have to keep the balance, right? We have to really strike that balance because we have to keep the business going. But at the same time, we need to stay safe and we need to make sure that all people don't die from the.
Was there a shutdown in Tokyo? In Japan?
No, not like Malaysia.
Okay.
There was a suggested lockdown. So actually, I stay home in Japan for about 5 months. But I still get to open the door, open the windows, and get to go to supermarket, go to buy stuff, buy groceries. But we were encouraged to stay home.
To stay home. Okay.
Yeah.
But
not like here, I guess.
Yeah. Well, now things are a lot more open here, right? So you can be here, so things are much better now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting. If you want to go back, I don't know whether but maybe because you're Japanese, to go back to Japan is possible. Huh? Maybe it's for
I don't
Malaysians
know.
who cannot.
But one of the minister from Japan came to here. I think that was last week.
Okay.
I think that they decided that there's a residence truck and business truck.
Okay.
Business truck is the people want to just fly in and out for business.
Yeah.
Residential truck is those people who have visa to live here. They can come and go. Okay. From September.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I really hope that materialize so that I can go out and back.
So you're a resident.
I have my working permit here.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm
So
a resident. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. But for now, you don't know yet.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I
Yeah.
have 2 kids and my wife here. So
Yeah, you want to be here anyway, right? So
Yeah.
But of course, the business is over there.
yeah.
But as you say, if you're working remotely anyway, everybody is.
Yeah,
getting
so
used to it, right?
that's the thing. So even in Japan, I work from home most of the time. So I don't need to be in Japan, but I feel safer in Japan because if something happens, then I can just go, maybe apologize to a client or do something.
Yeah.
I can be there physically if something happens.
Yeah, because the market is not here yet, right?
Yeah.
So right now you just leave it to your local team here to figure out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of your own, so it sounds like 7 years ago after you left your after Microsoft and then you did your consultancy in China, now you're finally back into your own startups, right? And now you're here. Do you see this now as looking at the Hajime, the entrepreneur? Is this your next? Is this going to be where you are for next few years, or
I
do
think
you
so, yeah.
going to spawn any other
Okay, yeah.
companies also?
Okay, so this is my focus. This company, Alphaus, is my focus for the maybe next couple years. But I'm sure I want to do something else again. But I help other startups as well. I think I help about 10. So one of the startup I like to, can I mention about other
sure.
those
Of course,
startups?
Yeah.
Toybox is one of the AI. So they're gonna set up a shop in the gardens.
Okay.
So I think they're gonna get a huge space, 7,000 square feet or something. So they have AI based analytics of the talents of those kids.
Oh, okay.
So that they can see, okay, this kid is good at visual learning, or this kid is good at this.
This is a local startup.
It was started by a Japanese entrepreneur.
Okay.
But it's local. It's a Malaysian startup.
Right.
They wanna from here they like to expand to China as in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of them. Tsunago, they have a smart retail. So they used to have a shop in Isetan. So they have AI sensors around the store. So if you shop online, they collect all the data, right? Like, food, the number of visits, the number of the second you look at the product or stuff like that. But in a physical retail, you can't get those data.
Yeah.
But with the AI sensors around the shop, they can give you that data. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can set up a funnel. How many people has passed this alley, and how many people pick up the product, and what the emotion was.
Wow.
This
So
guy
there's a lot of
was
cameras around,
interested. This guy was interested but didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should alert the staff to give him a discount, give the guy a discount or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So all these companies you are investing in or mentoring?
Yeah, I have a share. I have a share in them. So those companies, right? Of course, those are things that I wanted to do myself, but I couldn't because I have my focus.
Yeah.
So they let me have a share, so that I help them with the connecting with other peoples and stuff. I don't really do much for them, but yeah. So yeah, so that Tsunago, I helped the company in Vietnam. Matter Stars, they do logistic AI logistic, and also company in Japan, Attune. Yeah, they give you a dashboard of the your employees' motivation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The last three companies you mentioned AI also. Sounds like a theme for you.
It's AI
in terms of
I'm all about cloud.
Okay.
So it's all ABC, right? So AI, big data, and cloud, right? But I'm all about cloud because cloud is the one that who enable all the technologies, including big data, AI. But yeah, so ABC is my theme.
Okay. And these are not necessarily Japanese founders in the companies, right? It's just
this company in Japan is founder is American. Vietnam is Vietnamese.
Okay.
This Tsunago is a local Malaysian.
Right. Oh no, I thought you were becoming a ambassador for Japanese startups who want to set up in this region.
Oh no. I wanna help anybody that doing something fun that interests me. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot for spending.
All right, thank you.
1 hour.
Thank you.
Here.
Oh, it's been 1 hour already?
Yeah.
Oh wow, thank you. That was
these
fun.
things go quite fast. So, any last words in terms of your plans and how you want to move forward from now?
Well, I hope that we are back to normal. This Corona thing is over, so that I can spend more time in this region. I love. One of the reasons why I came here is because I like the culture, I like the people here, so I hope I get to stay. Yeah. And by living here, I get to meet with the other entrepreneurs. So I think maybe through your network, I hope I get to see more of those people.
I hope so too.
Young entrepreneurs, talents.
And I think it's great to have somebody like you coming into Malaysia, right, and reaches our startup ecosystem.
I hope I can contribute. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Hajime-san.
Thank you.
Hope to see you again.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.